Hey guys, so for this video I'm going to be building a workbench slash outfeed table. I've been needing one in my shop, and if you can see in the background I have the legs from my old workbench and I'm going to be incorporating those. And first thing I'm going to do is cut down all the sides, and I'm going to be using pocket holes to put all this together. I cut a scrap piece of wood so I can evenly space out the bottom parts of the table. And if you can't tell from these videos, the wood is pretty beat up. That's because a lot of it is scrap wood. There's a lot of construction in my neighborhood, and I take a lot of the cutoffs, especially when they're doing a lot of roofing, because it's free wood. It's not perfectly straight, but it'll work for a shop project. And I'm going to add some extra supports on the sides just to beef it up a little bit. And I'm going to put leveling feet on the bottom. So I bought some leveling feet for furniture from the big box store. You put in this little plastic nut and you can screw in your leveling foot. But as you can see here, I drilled the hole too big, which wasn't very smart. So I remedied this by drilling the hole a tiny bit better, taking a nut that fit and epoxied the nut in there, and that way I can screw my leveling feet in. And for the top, I'm going to do 2 layers. So the first layer is going to be I don't know the exact width, thickness, I believe it's 3/4 inch plywood. I'm going to screw that down to the frame. And for the second layer of the table, I just went with 3/4 inch MDF. I'm going to attach the MDF to the bottom layer by screws from the bottom. That way, if I did ever want to replace the top, if the MDF gets really dirty or wet or something happens, the top can be replaced easily. And I'm going to use a flush trim bit on the router and make the 2 layers perfectly even. Now I'm going to go ahead and cut out some trim for the side of the workbench. I have a lot of these pre-painted boards that someone in my neighborhood gave me for free, so I figured I would use that for some trim and a nice color accent around the border of the table. And even though I did make the top removable, I'm just going to glue and nail the sides on. I figured it shouldn't be too hard if I wanted to pry these off, and if I ever needed to replace the top, I just figure I'll put new trim on or try to salvage what I have, but it was just easier than screwing everything on. I'm going to cut off the excess on the sides with just a handsaw. And now for the mobile base, I decided to do a DIY mobile base, so I basically bought a set of 4 casters and I'm going to attach them to 2x4s. And there's lots of different ways you can do this online. This is just the easiest way that I found online that seemed to work out fairly easily with saving money. If you do a bunch of searches, and you can find lots of different ways you can make a mobile base for your tools. And for these holes, I'm using a self-centering hinge drill bit to drill all the holes on the hinges. So this piece of wood right here is the lever that is going to stick out the other side, and that way I can use my foot and put pressure down on the casters to lift the table up, and I can move it around. And since I have a storage surface underneath, I had to actually cut out some of the 2x4 so the lever can lift up a little bit more to get more leverage. Alright, so I wanted to give you an update about this. I didn't film everything because I was honestly getting a little frustrated with it, and it took a lot of tweaking to get it right. But let me show you what I did here with the casters. So it's a pretty basic system. I did a lot of research on different mobile bases. I was trying to go for the easiest and cheapest way. So it's essentially just a 2x4 with casters under on hinges, and it uses this lever board to lever the wheels down when I need to push it down. The only issue I have is that there is going to be a shelf here that I'm about to put in, and it hinders how far up the lever can go. If this shelf wasn't here, this board could go up all the way or as high as it needed to go, and there wouldn't be any issues because those wheels would be able to lift off the ground. The problem is that since this lever can only lift so far up, that the wheels aren't lifting off the ground the whole way, and the table isn't sturdy. I wanted this to be completely sturdy when the wheels aren't activated, and then when I need to activate them, I can move it around my shop because I want it to be mobile. I originally started out with 3/4 piece of wood underneath the tables when I put the wheels in, and I went all the way down to this. So I put like a 1/8 material under each leg and installed the wheels, so that way when the wheels get activated, the table's only lifting about 1/8 of an inch off the ground, which is just what I need to move it around. I don't think I'll be moving this around that much, but I do want the option of moving it off to the side if I need to. I have a big project or we need to fit a car in here. The other thing I did is I installed this fence lock right here. This just keeps the wheels off the ground. If this stays on like this, the wheels will hit the ground and it'll make the table less sturdy because the wheels will eventually push down a little bit. So this just keeps the board up in tension off the wheels, and then I'm probably going to install a way so that when this gets pushed down all the way, it can stay locked, because as of now my foot has to stay on it with pressure and I can move the table around, which is fine, but I'm probably going to install some sort of lock and pin thing so that when I want this fully activated, it can. It's not working perfectly, but I am able to move this table around. It is solid when the wheels aren't activated, and it really only cost me casters and hinges, which casters I went for medium casters, not super expensive, not super cheap. The wood was all scrap wood that I had around, and then the hinges or whatever. So it's really just cost me the casters and the hinges. So, and this little fence lock. So I would say that's pretty cheap. I know that they sell, like Rockler sells locking wheels, but I think it's like $60 for a set. And this whole thing cost me less than $20 for this mobile base. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up by installing this shelf down here, and that should pretty much wrap this project up. So I'm just going to take measurements of the 4x4s just to make sure and transfer those measurements onto the bottom shelf to cut those out. and I decided to use OSB for the bottom shelf, mainly because I just wanted to save money, and a lot of this project, other than the casters and the top, was all made out of wood I already had, or scrap wood.
Hey guys, so I finally got this project done. This is going to be a great thing to have around my shop. I've never had a proper Outfeed table, so this is going to be really good. It's also going to help get a lot of the clutter out of my shop. I already have some upgrades planned that I'm going to be doing soon in the next couple of weeks, so stay tuned for those videos. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.